I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our roll.
Kenny,
Here.
Shower,
Here.
Sullivan,
Here.
Vaughn,
Here.
Gustafson,
Here.
Clistic,
Here.
Belzak,
Here.
7 present.
We have a quorum. Questions and comments and announcements from anyone in the audience of a general nature that they'd like to present at this point. This provides people an opportunity not to have to wait till the end of the meeting. If there's nothing, then we'll proceed. With that, I'll ask for approval of the minutes for December 19th, 2022. Moved by Alderman Belzak, seconded by Alderman Shower. Any questions or comments? If none, the roll.
Belzak,
Aye.
Shower,
Aye.
Sullivan,
Aye.
Gustafson,
Aye.
Clistic,
Aye.
Vaughn,
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
7 ayes.
Minutes have been approved. Takes us to receiving of communications. Any communications the aldermen like to share? Eric?
Yeah, there was an attempted burglary in the 8500 block of Woodville Avenue on Saturday evening. I spent about an hour over there yesterday with the residents speaking about the situation, and it happened that the one young lady in her 20s was at home. Her mother was away, and a large black SUV backed up into the driveway and then started banging on the doorbell, banging on the windows, trying to get in the home. They broke into the screened-in porch and attempted to get into the home. They must have seen that there was someone home, and they did take off. Okay, so I'm just encouraging people here now, and unfortunately, I don't think they had their lights on at their house. The thing I really encourage people, if you have outside lights, keep your outside lights on, and also to get security cameras. I mean, if you get security cameras, put your security cameras on. If you got your Ring, have a Ring out there and stuff, and keep an eye on people within your neighborhood and stuff, because this is. And I just saw when I just left the house, there was a rash of burglaries in Oak Brook. Same type of situation and stuff where they're breaking in, just randomly picking homes. So I just want to encourage people. This is happening everywhere. We've got to prepare ourselves. And if you have a dog, great. You know, I keep my lights on at night. I have a motion camera in the front and the back. And then I keep the lights on all night. And frankly, I've got a gun. So I think I'm well prepared for what potentially could happen. But people have got to get ready. I mean, this is everywhere. It's going on right now. I mean, a week ago, it occurred in Woodridge. It was the same kind of setup. So it's going on out there, so please be careful.
Anyone else? Alderman Kenny?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I received a communication from a Melanie Ruda. She's in the unincorporated portion of Darien, requesting for a friend that lives near Our Lady Mount Carmel, looking for some sidewalks from the Shell station to Our Lady Mount Carmel Church. I brought it to Dan Gomback this evening, along with Alderman Shower, and we'll kind of look at that during budget.
Mary?
Thank you. I did receive a communication from a resident, Kevin Drum, who lives in the Waterfall Glen townhome area about a street light out, and I coordinated that with Dan Gomback, and it was taken care of right away today. So I wanted to thank Municipal Services for taking care of that. And the residents are very happy.
Thank you. Anyone else? Alderman Clistic?
Thank you, Mayor. I received communication from Sherry Gillespie from the 7800 block of Sawyer, was interested in the liaison business position, but she was asking if there was a posting for it, so I couldn't answer that.
Okay.
So
I have sent her email. I didn't realize she contacted you. She had sent Joe an email, and I responded back to her today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nothing else. It takes us to our mayor's report. This is one of those fun evenings for the city of Darien. We get to celebrate. And we have a committee that works diligently every year to come up with a resident who they believe stands out as our Darien Citizen of the Year. And tonight's the night we find out who their choice is for 2023. And I believe our liaison, Mary Sullivan, has a letter which she will read, and we will be informed who that is.
Thank you, Mayor. The city of Darien has always had a deep connection to its history and origin. It is the city's grassroots and vision that makes Darien a nice place to live. Therefore, it is with great pleasure to nominate the great-granddaughter of the two original founders of Lace, now Darien, the Anderman and Bushman families. The 2023 Citizen of the Year Committee hereby submits to the Darien City Council the name of Deborah Coleman as their choice for the 2023 Citizen of the Year. Deborah was raised on the farmland in the settlement home where the Country Lane Apartments are located today, which is kitty corner from McDonald's. The Andermans' land was on one side of the point, and on the other, the Bushman farm was located. The history expands to the still-standing farmhouse that is south of Gower Elementary School on Clarendon Hills Road. What a unique experience to have someone be able to share the story of the original founding of the city and to relate to the city's growth. After the tragic passing of her father and brother, her mother moved in 1954 from Reno, Nevada to what is now Darien with Deborah and her 5 siblings to be closer to family. Deborah's son Chad is also a resident of the city today. To recount Deborah's historical activities to and for the city is encompassing. Deborah has been a member of the Darien Historical Society for over 10 years. She is a curator of the Artifact of the Month and is special events chairperson. She is also present at the scheduled third Sunday of the month open house at the Old Lace Museum. She is a joint author of the book Images of America, Darien. She was a champion for the cause to restore the 1861 Cass flag, which now has been seen on display in the museum. Deborah is visible during the spring and fall seasons and in between as needed, working the landscape area around the museum. She also helps chair in conjunction with the Darien Women's Club the annual plant sale held every May. She takes part in organizing the Society's annual ice cream social, January reception, and holiday tree lighting event. Her historical persistence does not stop at the museum. For the past 7 years, she has been the chair of the annual Walk Along tour at St. John Cemetery, located on Clarendon Hills Road and 67th Street, which was established in 1859. She has orchestrated the Civil War enactments on the land. Her father had a distinguished military career in General Patton's Third Army advance across Europe. Because the cemetery has original undisturbed prairie land, Deborah works the land every Thursday, May through October, to keep the plants and soil growth in its virgin state, which has gained local and state recognition. To add to her historical connection to the area, her great-great-grandfather, Fred Anderman, served 2 terms on the original DuPage County Board of Supervisors. A plaque hanging in the county building recognizes the 5 founding members, of which he was one. Her cousin, Ron Anderman, recounted Deb, like her ancestors who helped settle Illinois and DuPage County, is a public-spirited person who has served to make Darien a nice place to live. Deborah attended Hinsdale High School, located at 55th and Grant Street, and is a graduate of the University of Illinois. Deb is a person of faith. She has been an active member of St. John Lutheran Church in Darien for over 50 years. The church is also one of the longest faith and grace-based ministries serving our community. Its inception was in 1859 by Deb's ancestors. Deborah was an active supporter of the church's preschool and is a longtime member of the church choir. For 2 decades, Deborah, along with her brother, taught the confirmation classes. Today, she continues to teach Sunday school. She is a chair of the Altar Guild and is on the board of lay leaders. Besides her church involvement, she was on the Indian Prairie Wish Book Committee for the new library building and was a longtime volunteer in the children's department. She continues to be a resource to the library for any Darien historical needs. She was a tremendous resource to the Darien 50th anniversary celebration. Her nominator states, for all her achievements and continued involvement, Deb is very quiet, unassuming, and a humble person. She is the behind-the-scenes, ever-energized worker. Her work and actions speak loudly for her. Through all these activities, she states her greatest joy is being a comfort dog handler. She has visited numerous retirement and nursing homes with Shammy and now Jeremiah. During the COVID pandemic, some of these visits stopped, but she continued to visit those shut-ins in private homes and similar settings who needed reassurance. As needed, she also pays visits to the library for special programs they sponsor. COVID also brought a new need to her and Jeremiah. She was asked to visit many area schools, including those in River Grove, Westchester, Darien, Homer Glen, and Aurora, to assist students with their anxieties that the pandemic brought on. Okay. Many children faced sickness, lack of belonging, and some death in their families. Many times, the dogs will just walk around, passing each participant and stop, wag their tail, and wait for a pat. Just seeing the dogs brings relief and relaxation to the groups. Deborah notes that all her comfort dogs take on the emotions of those they are visiting. Their tails stop wagging when their emotions are filled, and she knows it's time for them to leave and be rested. Although Deborah did not accompany Shammy, he went to Sandy Hook for 3 weeks to assist the community in their needs after that tragedy. In their own way, her companions also bring comfort to her. She cares for them deeply, and it's one of her favorite activities to do, and looks forward to all the encounters that they travel together to do. They are family also. It is best said by her cousin, included in her nomination form. Darien, a nice place to live, sums up much of what drives Deb Coleman in her love of this community. As a nice place to live, Darien is a place of dedicated families, a place of faith and community grounded in service. For Deb, Darien has been a place to raise her own family and, in the course, to serve in the support of various schools, community, and human activities. Indeed, Deborah is and will continue to be one of the many shining stars in making Darien a nice place to live. By city ordinance, our guidelines for selecting the Citizen of the Year are diversity of activities, length of service, degree of involvement in the community, and impact to the city. With the noted qualifications of Deborah Coleman, these requirements have been satisfied. City Council, we present to you Deborah Coleman as our choice for the Darien 2023 Citizen of the Year. Respectfully submitted, the 2023 Citizen of the Year Committee. And they're here tonight. I can ask them all to stand, our Citizen of the Year Committee. I want to thank them for all their hard work and service. They do a phenomenal job. They turn it around very quickly, and they really do dedicate a tremendous amount of time reviewing the nominations and following up and making that selection. So as their liaison, I just sit up here and read the wonderful things they've crafted. They're the ones that do all the hard work, and I thank them so much. I also, should I announce the dates or should I wait till?
Let's get a motion and a second to approve their recommendation. Do I have a motion to approve? Alderman Shower, second by Alderman Belzak. Any discussion? The roll?
Shower.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Clistic.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Okay, the recommendation to have Deb Coleman as our 2023 Citizen of the Year has been approved. Now, if you want to announce
Thank you.
the dates.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm very honored, and Deb is an amazing recipient, and I think will represent the city so well in this role. We can celebrate Deb on Tuesday, February 21st. It will be at City Hall after the meeting, we will have a coffee cake reception. We'll recognize her that night, but then the reception will be following the meeting in the police training room. And I encourage all of the council members to attend and the public to join us in this evening. And it's, open to everybody, free of charge. And then save the date, Friday, March 3rd, is the 2023 Citizen of the Year Dinner Dance. It is from 6 to 11 p.m. at Alpine Banquets, which is located at Caston Frontage Road in Darien. The cost is $52 per person, and this includes a family-style dinner of chicken breast, roast pork, and pasta. Veggie options are available: soup, salad, potatoes, and vegetable. And of course, Helen's famous kalachki will be served that night. There will be an open bar and DJ for dancing, and the recognition will take place that night, and that will be video recorded and played on our cable access channel. So I really hope we can collectively gather to celebrate Deborah Coleman on February 21st, and please, on March 3rd, come to the event. Tickets will be for sale at City Hall in the coming weeks.
I want to second what Mary offered earlier, and that is congratulations and many, many thanks to our committee, Jerry, Linda, Bonnie, Carol. I think Carrie's part of the committee as well. You guys do a great job every year. I know it's difficult because you probably got several good nominations this year, and I'm just very happy that you came up with someone as worthy as Deb Coleman. When I chaired this committee back in the late 80s, early 90s, I used to tell everybody it's like planning a wedding and you get to pick the bride, So, I mean, you did a great job. It's a tough task. You got a lot of work ahead of you still. And congratulations and many thanks to you. You want to say anything, Bonnie, or no? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Also underneath the mayor's report, April, in the past, we've attended what's called the Springfield Drive Down. Last year, Mr. Vanna and I went down to Springfield, Illinois with DuPage mayors and managers for an overnight, and we spent basically 2 days lobbying state legislators. Yours truly had an opportunity to meet with the governor for 40 minutes with 7 or 8 other mayors. We are planning to do that again this year, April 18th and 19th. We will be leaving from the DMMC parking lot early in the morning. We take a bus, that's a very nice bus. We'll be leaving early in the morning. We'll get down to Springfield. We get our rooms, and we go immediately to the Capitol, and we start meeting with state legislators. We have room for 2 more people to attend. We would have a total of 5. I'd like to extend that to the council. If you're someone who would like to participate, this is not, to be quite honest, it's a working trip. You have to be willing to go down there, and you're going to be lobbying the Legislative Action Program for the DuPage mayors and managers with the primary focus on restoring the local government distributive fund. So it's work, but it's something I think you would enjoy. Last year, Mary couldn't go. Mary told us that she'd like to join us this year, so we've got her booked on this trip. If you'd like to go, if you give it some thought tonight, you don't have to give me an answer tonight, but I'd like to know by Wednesday because the rooms are booking up and everybody gets their own room. I mean, we don't double up. You get your own room. And the food is good, and there are social events. There is a social event in the evening. So if you'd like to attend, please let me know by Wednesday if you can. I appreciate that. All right. The other thing I'd like to announce is that this year we didn't have any of our organizations submit their name as a group that wanted to produce the vehicle sticker for 2023. So just like last year, the city decided to produce its own sticker. But this year, I didn't want the city to design it. I wanted a Darien resident to design it. Several years ago, we had a young lady by the name of Ella Hardman. And Ella is a senior at Hinsdale South High School extremely talented young woman. And Ella designed our vehicle sticker back about almost 4 years ago, the one that has the lion's head on it. Well, I asked Ella to do it again this year, and Ella got back to me and she said, could I do Cancer Smashers, since I do work with Cancer Smashers? And I said, Ella, whatever you want to do. So Ella did a painting, which we then sent to the company that does the vehicle stickers, and those vehicle stickers are now available. And it's because of Ella Hardman that we have those this year. Those are $3 a piece, and I think right now I know you can buy them at City Hall, $3 donation. And I think we're going to have them at other places as well. But I want to thank Ella Hardman for doing that. She's really a great young lady. And so that's my mayor's report. It takes us to our city clerk's report. Joanne?
No report this evening, thank you.
All right. Takes us to our city administrator's report. And do you have anything, Brian, besides the,
I had nothing else, and we had talked about moving this a little bit lower on the agenda so we can take care of the business items. But I don't know if you want to have Larry speak now so he doesn't have to wait through the meeting.
right. We had a discussion during our workshop session regarding the Chamber of Commerce consolidation, which we are not going to be proposing. But I asked Larry Forsberg to come forward. I'd like Larry. Larry is the Economic Development Director of the Westmont Economic Development Partnership. And I really like this quote that I found on your LinkedIn page, which says, Chamber and Tourism Bureau work involves a high level of interaction with members of the business community, civic leaders, community organizations, and residents. Grassroots involvement in support of the overall success of community economic development is important to all stakeholders. I really like the way that's said, and that's something I really like to achieve here in Darien.
Well, I'll let everybody know. Well, first of all, good evening, Mayor, and City Council members, clerk, and staff. It took many years to write that of experience and to get to that point. My name is Larry Forsberg. I serve as the Executive Director of the Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau, and I have since June of 2006. In late 2013, the Chamber began a conversation with our village about starting up an economic development partnership. And the reason was we had come out of that 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12 economic disaster that we had in our country, and we weren't seeing much activity in terms of our business community, in terms of new businesses coming in, and we had lost several key businesses throughout that time. So the village was looking for a way to kind of re-energize economic development in the community. So we developed an economic development partnership that is a contracted agreement that we have with the village that was signed, and we outlined the scope of work, and we do briefings. Matter of fact, I have a briefing every week with our economic development team. But again, the whole purpose of that activity was to help drive new business to the community, and just probably even more importantly, quite frankly, is to retain businesses in the community. And since then, I don't have my numbers with me. I didn't make a formal presentation, but we've at least a good 18, 20 businesses that we retained that we're looking at moving. One of the most recent ones being Golden Basket, which is in the heart of downtown Westmont, was in a different building that they had to leave. And so that's pretty much the scope of work that we undertake. We also wanted this activity to be a vehicle in which we could respond quickly to inquiries. The inquiries may be something as simple as somebody looking for 500 square feet of office space, or it could be one that we're working on right now where someone's looking to build 240 new homes. So it's a whole range of activities. And when I say economic development, I want to be clear, we're focused on the economic development activities of the recruitment and retention. We do have, just like Darien, a community development team that deals with zoning, all the permitting, all the code enforcement issues that we all love to work on and things like that. So it is a separate activity from what we do in our community development team. But we work very closely together, because when a new business comes in or is interested in coming, one of the typical questions we have to deal with is the zoning appropriate? What type of variances might they need to be approved to be in the community? So we work very closely as a team to make sure that we're answering those questions quickly and early for a prospective business or a business that's there to looking to making the change. So that's our scope, and we've been doing that for 9 years now, and it's worked extremely well. We review this every couple of years in terms of working with the village, but quite honestly, we have so many meetings, we're always totally up to speed on what's going on, and there's constant feedback going on throughout the community. And then a few times a year, 4 times a year, typically, we publish a press release, what's new in town. I'm always giving information to our village board and to our leaders as to what's coming up, because one of the common questions they get is what's going in there, there's a fence around that building, what's happening. So we're kind of the conveyor of information and keep people up to date on what's going on. It's been a very positive working relationship with the village, and that's one of the things I just wanted to speak to very quickly, is that relationship has both strengthened the chamber and has strengthened the village. It's resulted in more additional sales tax revenue. We had one major car dealer that was looking at leaving to go to a different location. We were able to retain them, and the tens of thousands of dollars that they generate in sales tax a year would have been a huge loss to our communities. I mean, just that one sale alone is more than paid for this economic development partnership over the last 9 years. So these little things that may seem small actually have a long-term impact, and it's there to kind of keep that foundation of the community strong, our business community, and to keep building on it, because it's an ever-changing process. So with that being said, I'll be happy to answer any questions if there's anything specific.
Tom?
I noticed you guys have a dispensary, Curaleaf. How is that done within your community, and how much revenue does that garnish?
While I can't state the exact revenue, I can tell you having a cannabis store is almost the equivalent of having a car dealer in terms of sales tax. It's a very generous sales tax revenue stream for the community. And I can also tell you that in terms of the service it requires from the village, really no service at all. It's kind of like video gaming. It's just there. What was the second part of your question?
Any issues with crime or anything? Because that was something
No.
that was brought up for residents or this or
No,
that.
it's been a very easy and simple addition to the community.
Lester?
How were you guys able to keep that car dealer in the community? What were some of the things that you guys did?
A lot of meetings. There were questions about, variances that were going to be needed. This transaction actually required the acquisition of a street, which was a public street. So we ended up selling which is an AutoNation dealership, we ended up selling them the street. So we had to appraise and value that street and sell it so they could develop it's the BMW store. So they could develop that larger campus, which they needed. They needed to build a deck. They needed all these things in order to keep growing their business. Otherwise, they could have moved somewhere else and had accomplished the same things without that. And with that being said, I'm also proud to say we did that without offering an economic incentive. So it was just working hand in hand, rolling up our sleeves and kind of understanding what their challenges and issues were and finding solutions to keep them there in place. So.
Larry, who is technically, who do you report to? The village or the city, rather?
I have 2 masters, if you will.
Yep.
My board of directors on the chamber is one, my primary one. And my second one is I report to our village manager.
Okay.
And to keep him apprised of any key things. And again, every week we have a meeting that's comprised of our mayor, our village manager, our finance director, our community development director, our village planner, myself. And to give you an idea of the scope of people that are involved in these conversations that keep this going. And again, that allows us to keep these inquiries responded to quickly and timely and keep projects going.
So where do you get your W-2? From Westmont or
Yes,
from
yes,
Westmont
yes.
directly? Okay.
So the village pays the chamber, and my salary is drawn from our chamber
Oh, okay.
payroll. So.
How about any other, what type of contributions does Westmont make to the chamber? Anything else, financial contributions or anything like that?
There is another aspect that they contribute. They contribute about $42,000 a year for our tourism component. With that being said, our tourism is handled primarily through the DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau. Matter of fact, I just finished a 5-year term as their chair. And they are more than capable of doing anything I could even imagine to do with $42,000. They can multiply that 5 times over in terms of the scope of work that they can handle and the messaging that they can get out to the world, in essence. So, but that is basically it. So it's the revenue that comes in from the economic development partnership, and revenue comes in. But those are 2 very distinct, silos, if you will, in terms of scopes of work.
And Larry, I'm sure you're familiar with, a number of communities. Your type of arrangement, is that fairly unique? Do you know?
I would say that these arrangements are unique in almost every community. I know the Berwyn Development Corporation very well. Every month, I meet with my counterparts from the chambers around the area, which includes Berwyn and April, and we compare notes and work together on all the things that are impacting the business community, which varies from year to year, especially the last couple of years with COVID. And so each community kind of is slightly different in how they approach this. And that differences are based on their structure, their size, the needs that are needed from the business community, and quite frankly, the culture of the community in terms of, how it works overall. So there isn't one uniform, here's the golden model. It kind of can be fine-tuned. So I'm not here to say this is how you should do it. I'm simply here to say that it works. But I would, one word of caution, we didn't set a time limit. I heard you talking about a time limit earlier of a year, or maybe I misunderstood that, but I will simply say, and for those who know me well, they've heard me say this many times before, economic development moves at glacial speed. Conversations that I have today might not bear fruit for 2 or 3 or 4 years. The building we just opened up in downtown Westmont, the new apartment building that opened in July, is now 98% leased. That was 6 years from when we first went on an economic development tour of downtown Westmont to them doing a ribbon cutting this last July. So these things do take time, and they take, and conversations and, ebb and flow, and for every 10 you have, 2 go forward, and those kind of things. If there's any other questions, I'll be happy.
I'm sorry,
to
Larry,
answer.
one more. Your
Sure.
dispensary, did that grow out of a medical dispensary, or did you actually have a business that was licensed and was able to locate there?
We had actually been talking to several, and that's the one that kind of surfaced as the key leader. There was one other one that we thought was going to be there, and they are a medical dispensary. And we are looking for a second one. We will be tearing down a shopping center on 61st and Cass that's been empty for many years. The owner of that property had not been willing to sell it. Now they have. There's going to be a new car wash going into that center, and there's some land set aside there, and we're hoping that we're able to recruit a cannabis store for that location, because there are only a limited number of locations for zoning purposes where a store can go. It can't be too close to school, can't be too close to residential, and all those type of things.
So for right now, though, your dispensary was only for medical?
Oh, no, it's dual,
both.
but
It is both
But they
now,
have
okay.
medical and,
Got it. Okay, thank you.
yep, so.
So Larry, I just want to make sure the council, you are the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce. Part of your salary is paid for by the city?
Part of my salary, and also in that, also part of that salary goes to some of my part-time and staff, and also that goes to, handle costs like a website and social media and press releases and other related costs to operating the partnership.
Okay. And I was going to ask about the tourism. Brian brought that up. What kind of activities? I've talked to Ron Gunter in my year
So
working
you
with
know him well, yes.
and working with Ron. There seems to be a wonderful working relationship with the Park District and the city and you in terms of community events. And I know it helps to have Ty Warner and to have donations made, but you guys run some wonderful, wonderful activities. Now, I know you get to close down Cass Avenue, and we don't, but
True.
do you promote those, the sidewalk sales, things like that?
Let me clarify that part. There is an additional organization called Westmont Special Events that was started back in, I think it was 05, and their responsibility was to provide a platform to recruit volunteers to operate the Taste of Westmont and the car shows on Thursday nights, which run from June through basically the end of August. And I am so thankful for that, because anyone who does events and recruits volunteers realizes how much work and effort it is to do that. It's a lot. Also, in addition to that, we have a much smaller Lions Club than the Darien's Lions Club. They're also very active in doing a spring barbecue event. So some of our community organizations, the Park District, the Village, the Special Events Group, all kind of working together, the Chamber, all working together to make this happen is how it all.
But you said there's a group that really kind of organizes that, and all these groups feed into that.
All the volunteers feed into that, and so they're a separate entity, one step away from the village. It takes a little bit different in liability concerns and so forth. But yes,
Do you think that in your knowledge of other community, awareness of other communities, do other communities that have successful downtown events like this also have, I know Downers Grove has a group like this that runs their special events. Do you know others that have groups that just run their special events?
Well, I was going to point out the Downtown Downers Grove Management Group, which does a phenomenal job. But obviously, there's an SSA in place there that's generating, I think it's about $450,000 a year.
Okay.
It's about, I haven't checked in a while, so don't quote me on that. But so they take those funds and funnel that into, the sidewalk sales and the car, all those type of things. So they're generating a substantial amount of money from that tax stream to cover those staff and the activities.
If Darien wanted to develop a group like that sometime in the future, a group that just met to bring all those different groups in to run community events, how would we handle the funding for that? Would we have to look at CMAP or how do we do that?
Well, in Westmont's case, some of there's seed money there from the village, and a lot of money also comes from event sponsors. There's a lot of work that goes on throughout the year recruiting sponsors, and sometimes that's easy to do, and sometimes not so easy. So it's a combination of those two things, and obviously, in running a community-wide event, you need help from Public Works, Police Department, everybody in order to make the logistics of it all work properly and safely.
Yeah, I told Ron, I really like the way all your groups come together, work with the city, and that's what makes the event so successful.
And he knows that process inside out because he's been so involved with their park district for as executive director for 40 years.
40
so,
years.
Yeah, so he's a great reference too.
They say if you played soccer in Westmont and you weren't coached by Ron Gunter, you didn't live there long enough.
It's probably true. Anything else I can answer?
Anything else for Larry?
Thank you. It was very helpful,
thanks,
very
Larry.
informative.
Larry, thank you very much.
Thank you, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
All right, that takes us to department head information questions. Police Department, any questions for Chief Thomas? Eric?
Yeah, I saw, Chief, there was recently a California police officer that got exposed to fentanyl while doing a traffic stop, and it took 3 doses of Narcan for her to recover. I mean, do your officers carry enough Narcan with them? I mean, you have enough?
Yes. Everybody has 2 doses, and then obviously there's more that could arrive via paramedics and such.
And one other quick thing, getting back to that attempted burglary, can you expand to residents how important it is for them to call 911 as soon as they see or sense something's not right?
Well, the sooner that you're able to call 911, the faster that we're going to be able to respond to the situation and deal with it however that deal with it means. You know, whether it's preservation of life, catching an offender, those type of things. So 911 is just so important.
Yeah, because some people, for some reason, I've heard this before, that hesitate, well, I don't want to bother them. I hear that way too much, and people have just got to learn just to call. If it happens that it's nothing, it's nothing, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. We respond to several thousand calls a year, and some of them turn out to be nothing, and some of them turn out to be something.
And hopefully
And
they'll all be nothing.
We never know when they are. Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Anything else for the chief? How about for Mr. Gombeck?
Nice job on the weather.
Thank you. I put the order in about 3 weeks ago, and everyone has complied, so.
Dan put in a request for great weather this week.
No snow. Keep it going.
All right. Takes us to our treasurer's report. We have 2 warrants. Brian will read our warrants.
Yeah, in the absence of Treasurer Corn, we'd be asking for City Council approval of warrant number 2223-17 in the total amount of $500,591.32, and also warrant number 2223-18 in the amount of $1,256,532.08.
Motion to approve both warrants. Alderman Kenny, second by Alderman Shower. Any questions or comments? If none, the roll.
Kenny,
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Sullivan,
Aye.
Vaughn. Gustafson.
Aye.
Clistic,
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Warrants have been approved. Takes us to standing committee reports. Do our aldermen have any standing committee reports? Mary?
Thank you, Mayor. The next Economic Development Committee will meet on Thursday, February 2nd in council chambers. And we are going to be gearing up pretty soon for the budget workshops for the 2023-24 budget. So it's the Administrative Finance Committee of a whole. Our first meeting will be on Wednesday, February 22nd. And those meetings start at 6:30, and they're held here in council chambers, and they are televised. You can be on the lookout for your draft budget distribution right around Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to you. And the meetings will follow each week as needed until we have completed the review and discussions of the budget, with the end goal being to have a public hearing on the budget at the April 3rd council meeting.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone else? Alderman Kenny?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Police Committee met this evening. We approved minutes for our December 19th meeting. We will submit those to the clerk's office once they get signed by members. Our next meeting, it will be scheduled for February 20th at 6 p.m. across the street in the police training room, pending agenda items.
Thank you. Alderman Belsack?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Municipal Services Committee meeting for January is canceled, and the next scheduled Municipal Services meeting will be on February 27 at 6 p.m. in council chambers.
Thank you very much. Takes us to questions and comments, agenda related. Does anybody in the audience have any questions regarding our agenda? If not, we go to old business. There being no old business, we move to consent. For the record, we have moved items A through R that are currently under the new business to our consent agenda. So I will be reading a number of items here, so please bear with me. Item A, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Darien and the Flat Creek Water Reclamation District for the discontinuance of water service. Item B, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of one new 2022 Chevy 3500 DBL cab 4x4 from Raymond Chevrolet in the amount of $65,799. Item C, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing a proposal from Monroe Truck Equipment for the purchase of a dump body and snowplow equipment package, lighting accessories, and hydraulic controls for the 2022 Chevy 3500 DBL cab 4x4 in an amount not to exceed $6,066. Item D, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract extending the extension with LRS Clean Sweep for the City of Darien's 2023 street sweeping program in an amount not to exceed $45,756. Item E, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for the 2023 concrete sidewalk, apron, and curb and gutter removal and replacement program with Suburban Concrete Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $1,453,140, and to waive the residential $75 permit fee application for concrete work. Item F, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an amended contract extension with Rags Electric Incorporated for the 2023 tree light maintenance beginning May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024. Item G, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to extend a contract for the 2023 landscape maintenance services between the City of Darien and the Lakewood Paving Company LLC in an amount not to exceed $40,817.90. Item G, consideration of a motion to authorize a contingency with Lakewood Paving Company, LLC, in the amount of $20,000 for replacement of plant materials and plant enhancements for the 2023 landscape maintenance services pending budget approval. Item H, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Davis Concrete Construction Company for the neighborhood sidewalks project for the east side of Clarendon Hills Road from 67th Street to Plainfield Road, and for the south side of 79th Street from Cass Avenue to Stratford Place for base bid and alternative as an alternate at a cost not to exceed $594,259.65. Item I, consideration of a motion to approve contingencies in the amount of $20,000 for unforeseen field encounters for the neighborhood sidewalks project for the east side of Clarendon Hills Road from 67th Street to Plainfield Road, and for the south side of 79th Street from Cass Avenue to Stratford Place. Item J, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the County of DuPage for the Regency Grove Flood Mitigation Program. Item K, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Core and Main for general water development utility tools and marking supplies for the maintenance of the water system for a period of May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024. What letter am I?
You're an M.
I love this, Joe.
Item M, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Underground Pipe and Valve Company for general water department utility tools and marketing supplies for the maintenance of the water system for a period of May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024. Item N, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Water Products Company for general water department utility tools and marking supplies for the maintenance of the water system for a period of May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024. Item O, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Underground Pipe and Valve Company for the general water department utility fixtures for the maintenance of the water system for a period of May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024. Item P, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from EJ USA Incorporated for general water department utility fixtures for the maintenance of the water system for a period of May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024. Where am I?
Q.
Q. Which one did I just read?
Here, you got my paper with the,
Okay. All right, consider a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Z-Bell Water Services Products Incorporated for the general water department utility fixtures for the maintenance of the water system for a period of May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024. R. Consideration of a motion to approve an ordinance authorizing the sale of personal property owned by the city of Darien. Item S. Consideration of motion to approve a resolution for maintenance under the Illinois Highway Code, which is expenditure of motor fuel tax fund. And item T, consideration of a motion to approve a resolution waiving the competitive quote process and accepting a quote from Advanced Automation and Controls Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $21,610 for the hardware equipment licensing and programming of the city's water supervisory control and data acquisition, or SCADA system.
okay, we skipped one. This letter here needs to be read also. You skipped a letter.
The old N, their N, or
It was the old N.
the old M.
N is in Nancy.
Consideration of a motion to approve a resolution accepting a proposal from Core and Maine for the General Water Department utility fixtures for the maintenance of the water system for a period of May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024. It helps to have had them remarked. Okay. Motion to approve that consent agenda, moved by Alderman Belzak, second by Alderwoman Sullivan. Any,
No.
and the roll.
Belzak,
Aye.
Sullivan,
Aye.
Kenny,
Aye.
Gustafson,
Aye.
Clistic,
Aye.
Shower,
Aye.
Vaughn. 7 ayes.
All right, we have the one item under the administrator's report that I'd just like to review. Under our work session tonight, we explained to the council that we were not seeking a proposal to absorb the Darien Chamber of Commerce into the city of Darien. That we had decided in our reassessment of what was truly our goal, and that was to ensure the financial viability of the Chamber of Commerce, and B, to grow the Chamber of Commerce into a organization which has more contact with businesses within the city through membership, as well as to provide relevancy to those organizations with regard to their joining the Chamber of Commerce. For that reason, there is no need to absorb the chamber. We have a business liaison individual who will be going out and visiting all of our businesses within the city. His task will be to communicate back to the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce information that he finds out that we feel or he feels could be beneficial to the chamber, i.e., we find out that a particular business is having an issue in a financial area and they would like information on how to deal with that. That information is brought back. Maybe there are other businesses at that point that have a similar concern. The chamber then could run something just for that group of businesses that have that concern. So we're looking to do more targeted type of outreach and solution problem solving with this approach. And again, the chamber would maintain its current status with their executive director. They would maintain their status with their current board of directors. Our proposal would be to have all the businesses that are in the city of Darien, upon renewal of their business license, become members of the Chamber of Commerce. And they would become members of the Chamber of Commerce without a fee. The city of Darien would then reimburse the Chamber of Commerce for those monies that they would normally receive through the enactment of those fees. This first year, we would base that on those businesses that were on the chamber rolls at the conclusion of their business year, which would total an amount of about $29,300 or $400. Now, this would be reconsidered every year, and it would be based on our discussions with the chamber in terms of how well they think they're doing, plus information that we're going to get by having our business liaison person out there in the community asking our businesses, what relevance are you finding? How relevant is the chamber for you? What are the activities that you would like the chamber to do for you, and are they accomplishing those? If after 1 year we see that this has not led to any growth, which I doubt, but if it does not, then that investment, as I call it, would not take place a second year. So there would be periodic observations of what's going on. We would have I would actually present to the council. I'd give you written reports on what's going on. Our EDC would be receiving information, and our Planning and Zoning Committee would be receiving that information as well. So that is really where we're at. In the work session tonight, the council agreed that would be a positive step forward. And again, so I want to emphasize, we are not talking about absorbing the chamber. We are talking about working more closely with the chamber, providing them with this $30,000 that they would normally get from their dues payment from their current members, and we would subsidize that, and all businesses would come into the city, into the chamber for free. Now, when we send our business license renewals out, we would tell them in that letter that they are getting 1 free year of membership to the Darien Chamber of Commerce. And I think the chamber asked us to put in that letter that this is a value of, what, $225 or something? And we would put that in that letter so businesses would know the value of what they're getting in terms of that 1 year membership. And that's really the proposal, and all of you had a chance to discuss that today. And I'm very happy that you all saw that was a positive step forward. And again, when we looked at absorbing the chamber, we looked at it, we didn't look at it because they were in bad financial shape. We looked at it as a way of ensuring their viability financially as well as their growth within the business community. And what we learned through our discussions is that we did not need to absorb the chamber in order to do that. So I'm really thankful for the discussions we had tonight. I want to thank Mr. Forsberg for coming in tonight and telling us a little bit about a very different model and one that I think is very successful. And I think if we learned anything tonight from Larry, it's that the relationship between a city and its Chamber of Commerce is unique to that city. One size doesn't fit all. And obviously, what you have works for Westmont, and what Downers Grove has works for Downers Grove. And what Darien needs to pursue is a model that works for Darien. And right now, things seem to be working, but we want to work on improving that. So I want to thank all of you tonight. I don't adjourn, we do executive.
We don't adjourn.
Okay. At this point now, I would like to ask for a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing collective bargaining, Section 2C2 of the Open Meetings Act. Alderman Shower, seconded by Alderman Belzak. The roll?
Shower.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Clistic.
Aye.
Vaughn.
Aye.
Gustafson.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Aye.
7 ayes, and the time is 8:28, and this is with no action to be taken, and then we will adjourn after the executive session.
Okay.
Do we have to come back down here to adjourn, or
We
we
can do it upstairs.
Do it
Okay.
upstairs.
Right, you want me in there?